We finished the second canto, no? We're at the third Mundaka.
Yeah, third Mundaka, second canto, second Mundaka, second canto, there's a one shloka I had left, if you remember.
Yeah.
So I'll be doing that today, and afterwards I'll be going to third canto. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Bhadram Karnebhi Shrunuyama Devaha Bhadram Pashyemakshabhiryajatraha Sthirairangai Stustuvagam Sastanubhi Veshema Devahitayadayuhum Swasti na Indro Vruddhashavaha Swasti nः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ. Yeah. Dear devotees, if you remember one particular shloka, the Palashruti, or the eighth second chapter, second canto, eighth shloka I had left, and I was saying that at the end I will be taking. Why? Because after discussing the what is Atman and what is the nature of this world and what is the self-knowledge, and when we try to get the self-knowledge, what are we going to get? What I'm going to achieve has been told in the middle of the canto. So I told even once everything we discuss, then we shall try to understand the phala of the Atmagnana, the fruits of getting the Atmagnana. Bhidyate hridaya grantihi schidhyante sarva samshayaha chiyante chasya karmani tasmin drushte parabare. When that self, which is both the high and the low, is realized or experienced, the knot of the heart gets untied. All doubts become solved and all one's action becomes dissipated. This is the often quoted shloka. There's a Sanskrit couplet. In the part of that it says, Prayojanam anuddishya mandopi na pravartate. Without the use, without the benefit, even the best among the fool doesn't work, doesn't try to achieve something or doesn't try to get something. So all of us, we're always bothering, what do I get by doing this or by doing that? For example, on the lighter side, when we were all children, when mother asked to go and bring something, if it is a nearby, fine. If it is a kilometer or 2 or 3, when we are started riding bicycles and all, when mother asked to go and get some things, immediately we wish to ask, mother, what are you going to give me? So the intention is, okay, I will get the things done for you, but if you can pay me 1 rupee or 50 paisa, then by using that, I will try to ride the bicycle. So similarly, every one of us, we are always trying to think, by doing a work, what do I get it? By practicing meditation, what do I get it? By going to ashrama or by attending discourse, what do I get? Consciously or unconsciously, knowingly or unknowingly, we will be thinking about the benefits. Again, I'm not saying that is bad or good. I'm not judgmental. Only I'm just making the fact clear. Now, in this 8th shloka, the Rishi is telling very clearly, when you get the Atma Gnana or Brahma Gnana, what is going to happen? What benefits an individual being is going to get? Now, Bhidyante Hridaya Grantihi. Hridaya Granti. Granti means knot. Hridaya Granti, knot in the heart. Now, the knot should be taken as a figurative sense, actually. The Rishi is used in the figurative sense. We should not really think, oh, there are some knots in my heart, so when I get a Brahmagnana, that knots are removed. Not in physical sense, it is only figurative sense. And now this knot is used for what in generally? There can be different, many shades of meaning. Generally, the knots are used to connect, to join, to tie. When two things are joined, there can be a knot. So from that angle, the Rishi is using the Hridaya Granthi. And also, for an example, you can say wedding knot. When they do wedding, they tie the clothes of bride and bridegroom. There will be again a knot, isn't it? Bandhana. There it is used in the form of bondage or getting united, basically. Now, we have also got a knot. What is that? We have connected ourselves, or the self. The self has connected, the self has united with the body and mind. What does it mean? Self is connected with the body and mind. Self is united with the body and mind means what? Self is thinking that I am the body and I am the mind. In other words, we are having the notion of ahankara and mamakara. I and mine. This is the root cause for all our problems. This is the root cause for all our sufferings and experiences, either suffering or joy or whatever. Because of this, Kurukshetra war happened. Kurukshetra war externally happened, and this Kurukshetra war will be also happening inside us, between our good nature and bad nature, higher nature and lower nature, gentleness and rudeness. So that war is happening inside us always, between the higher self and the lower self, between the arrogance and between the humbleness or whatever. Now, because of this ahankara and mamakara, all the problems are happening. Now, that is known as, that is Hridaya Granthi. Now, Vidyante. Vidyante means untie, destroy. Untie the knot, destroy the knot. Means what? The ignorance is removed, the ignorance is destroyed, or understand and experience and get yourself detached from the body and mind. Again, when we say that get detached from the body and mind, not from the physical sense, from the cognition sense, from the cognitively. I am thinking body, but I use my body, but I am thinking I am the body. I use whose mobile it is my mobile, but something happens, then I start thinking I am the mobile. So my saying and my experience or my reaction or my actions, there's a lot of difference. So Vidyante is what? Getting destroyed. Now the commentators goes a bit technical and philosophically here. They bring the karma phala. If you remember earlier Vedantic classes, all our actions produces results. Good actions produce good results. That is called punya. Bad actions, wicked actions produce bad results. That is called papa. Now this based on the time, the karma phala has been segregated into three parts, or into three parts. What is that? One is, I will give an example. Now here you are working and you are earning money. And you have got 2 lakhs rupees in your bank account. Now you wanted to go for a Goa tour. So you withdrew 25,000 for Goa tour and you are riding or you are traveling to Goa. Fine. So 25,000 you have taken, you have withdrawn the cash, and the 25,000 in your pocket for Goa tour you are going, that is called prarabdha karma. And 1,75,000 is in your bank account still, that is called sanchita karma. Once you come back from your traveling or picnic or the tour, again you are going to earn. Or you might have taken a EL or CL or sick leave or whatever. Then, but so you will be also earning the salaries. In whatever you are going to earn the salary, that is what called agami karma. Agami. So whatever has been withdrawn, which is in your pocket, that is called prarabdha. Whatever has been stored in your bank account, that is what sanchita. And what you are going to get fresh, that is called agami. Now, bhityante, when they say destroy, means what? Your agami karma and your sanchita karma gets destroyed. Your bank balance gets nil. Whatever 1,75,000 was there, it got nil. So your sanchita karma got destroyed completely. And now agami, what you are going to get it, because now you got the realization, experience of the self. That is the reason you are not going to accumulate any fresh karma phala, so no agami karma. But you already had 25,000 in your hand, isn't it? So that is called prarabdha karma. That till the exhaustion of prarabdha karma, your body and mind exist, no doubt. You may be living in this on the body and mind, but you are not affected by any of them. That state is called Jivan Mukti. So now Vidyante, untied and destroyed, is destroying is what? Ignorance. And consequently, what happens? All your fruit, karma phala is destroyed. Because of karma phala is destroyed, then no more birth and no more death. That will be your last life, and that will be the last death. Afterwards, no more birth and no more death. And one more explanation is given is this ahankara. I. I mean, people come to listen Vedantic talks. While listening Vedantic talks, I have mentioned one or two devotees' name. Then other two devotees were feeling morose, feeling bad. Swamiji, you mentioned the two devotees' name, but you didn't mention our names. So you are more, you like more them and you didn't like them. Are you came to listen Vedantic talk. You wanted to get away this pseudo and because for accidentally, not intentionally, I mentioned two devotees' name, and the other two devotees were feeling bad that you didn't mention our name. Why? Because of that possessiveness, because of that ahankara, I. And because of that me and mine, mamakara. So when vidyante hridaya granthi, when these knots has been untied or destroyed, what happens? This ahankara gets destroyed and nirahankara comes. And mamakara goes and nirmama comes. Instead of I and me or mine, instead of that, we get we and ours. This is what Vidyante Hridaya Granthi. This is the first part of the shloka actually. Vidyante Hridaya Granthi means you can understand. So our ignorance gets destroyed, all our fruits of actions gets destroyed, and I and me and mine, whatever is there, that gets destroyed, and we, ours will happen. Okay, the karma phala gets destroyed, ignorance gets destroyed. The jivatman or the atman is living in the body because the prarabdha karma is there. It may be for few years, few months, or whatever, or few decades, even say. Then what will happen to the Brahman? What will happen to the Atman? If you ask, they say that he will be staying in that body, no doubt, but he will be experiencing the witness. He will be the witness alone. He will be the witness alone. So many things keep coming and so many things going, but he doesn't get boggled. He doesn't get disturbed. This too shall will pass. This too shall pass. That's what we are going to get. Basically, undisturbed, peaceful, blissful state is obtained, irrespective of the problems. Because I get Brahmagnana or Atmagnana, that doesn't mean that my wife or husband, my children, my kith and kin, my colleagues will change or my neighbors will change. No, that will not happen. May happen, may not happen. But you will change. Even they may be creating lot of troubles. Whatever the troubles are there, they might increase even so. You might try to solve them externally, but internally you will be unperturbed. What a beautiful state of mind. Again, that is not insensitivity, that is transcendality. You transcend all these things. Problems may exist. You may try to solve it. You may be struggling to solve them, but internally you will be unperturbed person. That is what happens. Vidyate hridaya grantihi. And also in another way, I can tell in a layman's language, he will understand, he will experience, not only understand, he will experience, I am the subject and not the object. Means I am the self, not the body, mind, and this world, or the things and the objects. Fine. And he will be objective in his outlook, and he will be free from subjective outlook. I am the subject and not the object, and we should have objective outlook, not the subjective outlook. How paradox it is. We are subject, and we should not have subjective outlook. We are subject, but we should have objective outlook. But unfortunately, we have got everything is ulta. We are thinking we are object, and we have got subjective outlook. That's why we suffer. That is what called in Upanishad or in a philosophical language, adhyasa, atasmin tadbuddhi. What is not right, we are thinking that is right. What is not truth or what is not reality, we are thinking that as reality. Okay. Chidyante sarva samshayaha. All the doubts are dispelled. How much ever we are reading and hearing Mundaka Upanishad, Kata Upanishad, Ishavasya Upanishad and all, we cannot say that all our doubts are cleared. Yes, Swamiji, you say that Brahman, and we are all Brahman, fine, but the but kintu, this is the problem with many of us. We might have understood intellectually, but it has not put into practice. I think I told you this story also probably, a pseudo-Vedantin story. Pseudo-Vedantin story goes like this. This Rama Bhatta and Krishna Bhatta. These were the two great Pandits. They had studied Vedas, they had studied Upanishads and Vyakarna, Chandas, Nirukta, Jyotisha. All these things, they're well-versed, scholars. They were scholars. They were respected for their scholastic knowledge. And they were neighbors and they were good friends also. They used to stay each other, opposite to each other, and they were good friends. At some point of time, for some reason, they had a clash and their egos got hurt and they fought, and then onwards, they become the deadly enemies. Each day, every day, for some petty reason, they used to fight each other, and it was known for the entire village or the entire city. Once, Krishna Bhatta was called to give a sermon. Hundreds of people have come because Krishna Bhatta has come. He is known for his scholastic knowledge. It will be so nice. And hundreds of people have come, thousands of people have come, and they have assembled and they were interested. They were curious to hear the wonderful teachings or the lecture of the Krishna Bhatta. Krishna Bhatta was also, well, already he knows, but still he had prepared for the lecture also to give a talk. He went and he started a talk. Everyone were mesmerized. Oh, what a knowledge. He's like a Saraswati Putra, and all they are thinking. Everyone was mesmerized, pin drop silence. While talking, Krishna Bhatta was supposed to say, or he had to quote the Upanishadic statement, Vedic statement, Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma. Whatever is there in this world, everything is Brahman and nothing else is there. While quoting this, immediately, unfortunately, instead of remembering Brahman or God, his mind, unfortunately, remembered Rama Bhatta. Then when he says Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma, everything is Brahman, Rama Bhatta also is Brahman then. But his mind was not ready to accept. And he's a Sanskrit Pandit. He knows Sanskrit. Immediately he said, Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma, Rama Bhattam Vina. Everything is Brahman in this world except Rama Bhatta. You see, the intellectual knowledge has not been translated into action or into practice. Even at that moment, his heart was not ready to accept. His mind was not ready to accept. Yes, I have got some problem. I have got some enmity towards Rama Bhatta. That is fine. But still, he is also the self. He is also the consciousness. He couldn't accept, unfortunately. This is what our state, isn't it? But whereas because we have got knowledge, but it has not become translated into experience. That's what I mean. Now, chityante sarva samshayaha. When you experience the Brahman, you will not have any more doubts. So, chidyante, doubts are dispelled, cut asunder. All doubts. Sarva samshayaha, sarva, all doubts. Now, the question comes, unfortunately, people say, if you are Brahmagnani, you will know anything and everything. Even because the question also started like that only, isn't it? If you remember my earlier classes of Mundaka Upanishad, the Angirasa asked, Kasminno bhago vignate sarvavidam vignatam bhavati. Please tell me, by knowing one, everything will be known. So sarva samshaya. So that means if I am a Brahmagnani, I can be good at thermodynamics, I can be good at physics, I can be good at analytical geometry, I can be good at computer science, I can be good at science, maths, everything I will be knowing, because everything will be cleared. If someone says, no, that is wrong. That is wrong, a wrong understanding. No. Here, samshaya, it is related to the Atman only or the Brahman alone. Then why they are saying sarva samshaya, Atma samshaya, they should have said. So the doubt regarding to the self, the doubt regarding to the consciousness has been removed, has been dispelled, has been cleared. It doesn't mean that the doubt which if we had about physics or about a mathematics or about any language, about science, will it go away after Brahmagnana? It may not. It will not, or it may not, and it will not. But Brahmagnani can learn things fast because he doesn't have resistance, he doesn't have distraction, he doesn't have weak mind, all these things. But because of Brahmagnani, that doesn't mean that he has got complete knowledge of physics also. No, it is not true. Then why the Rishi is using sarva, all? This is a very important thing. Here sarva refers to the self, individual self, supreme self, Atman and Paramatman, and regarding the nature of creation. Ishvara, Jiva, and Jagat. Regarding this, the person who has experienced the Brahman, he will not have any doubt. Again, scientifically or philosophically, if you want me to speak, he knows that who is Karana and who is Karya, who is cause, who is effect. The Brahman alone is the cause of this entire creation and every being. And the effect is called so-called object, or the object and the universe. They are all appearance. They have got borrowed consciousness. Individual beings, they have got borrowed consciousness. The world has got borrowed existence from the source that is called consciousness. So regarding self, regarding the supreme self, and regarding this world, the person, the realized person will not have any doubt. So it is all from the philosophical angle, from the principles angle they are speaking. So Sarva Samshaya means it is regarding Ishvara, Jiva, and Jagat, not about the physics, maths, analytical geometry, or whatever. You have to be very clear. And also in other way we can say, he knows that Brahman alone is real, Brahma Satya and Jagat Mithya. The world is an appearance that he knows. And Jivo Brahma even Aparaha. There is no essential difference between individual self and supreme self. These three things he knows. So Sarva Samshaya means it is related to this. Okay. Kshiyante chasya karmani. Kshiyante cha asya karmani. All the results of his actions are getting dissipated. I think already I told you. Prarabdha karma, whatever is there, till its end, he leaves, and afterwards he departs the body, and his agami karma and sanchita karma gets destroyed, and no fresh accumulation of the agami karma. No fresh accumulation. Why? Because kartrutva and bhoktrutva bodha has been nullified. I am the doer and I am the enjoyer has been nullified. Experiencer, actually. Here, bhokta means actually experience. It can be happiness and it can be sorrow also, of course. It is enjoy. Enjoying means it is not only joy, it also includes sorrow also. Because he doesn't feel that he's a body, is a mind, and is not connected with the reflected consciousness. So no, naham karta, naham bhokta. He doesn't think he's the doer, he or she, and he or she doesn't think that he or she is the enjoyer or experiencer. That is the reason no fresh accumulation also. So all the results are been karma phala, fruits of actions are dissipated, cleared. Bank balance is zero. Or otherwise we can say that, for an example, a paddy or any grain, it has been kept for decades, few decades. And afterwards, suddenly one day, some of us, or a farmer, he soaks in the water, or he throws on the land. Then what happens? In a day or two, you will start seeing sprouts, or you will be seeing the saplings on the ground. So many days without water it was there. Probably it might have stayed for 10 or 15, 20 years or even for longer time. But as soon as it gets into water or into the ground, there is a sprout, germination. The power of germination potentially was existing in the grain. Now, the same grain, if you boil it and keep it, tomorrow or day after a week or a month or year or decade, when you put into water or when you put into the land, then what happens? There is no germination, there is no sapling, there is no sprouts also. Why? Because when the grains has been boiled, the power of germination has been destroyed. Dagda avastha, they say. Dagda avastha, burnt seed. So when we get Brahmagnana, what happens? Just like we become burnt seeds. What does it mean? All our actions, when actions results are being burnt, so no more fresh accumulation. So Naham Karta, Naham Bhokta is well, what you say, established. Then Tasmin Drushte Para Avare. Tasmin Drushte, Tasmin, in that, Drushte, seen, means when he experience, I am the self, I am the consciousness, I am the Atman. Drushte means see, actually. See means we have to understand. What? Para and Avare. Para, the supreme self or the higher self. Avare means lower self. So this higher self and lower self can be understood in two ways, actually. One is supreme self, higher self can be taken as Paramatman, and the lower self can be considered as Jivatman. So they will understand the nature of what is Atman and Paramatman. That's the one thing. And the other is about the Atman and about the body. So he understands that he is the self, or I am the self, and I am not the body and mind. The moment he understands the truth, the moment he understands the experiences himself, what is his true nature, real nature, he understands his real nature. He also understands that he is not the body and mind. That is what called Drushte, Para and Avare. So actually, Dushte Paravare, what happens? Vidyante Hridaya Grantihi, Chidyante Sarva Samshayaha, Chiyante Chasya Karmani. In the moment when he experiences the self, what happens? His bank balance increases? No. Does he get promotion? No. Does he get some name and fame? No. Will he become famous or celebrity? No. His knots are untied or destroyed. All his doubts are dispelled, and his actions, results, fruits of actions are dissipated. So this is what the karma phala of the, this is the phala of the Brahmagnana. So what are you going to get from Brahmagnana, if you ask? This has been told beautifully in this, particular shloka, which is often quoted. So this ends the second chapter, second canto. If you remember again my earlier classes, the Mundaka Upanishad has got 3 chapters. And every chapter has got 2 cantos. So now second chapter, second canto is over. Now third chapter, and we have got there also 2 cantos. 2 cantos means 2 sub-chapters, you can say. No, second chapter, including both 2 cantos, both are the center of the Mundaka Upanishad, actually. The center message of the Upanishad, if you want to understand, if you read the second chapter with the 2 cantos, that is what. Then why this third chapter is there? The Rishi thought, I have told all these things, no doubt. Some of the students might not have understood, or they might have got some doubts. So let me do revision. Let me do recapitulation. So in the third chapter, so he's trying to winding up, and he's trying to consolidate, and he's doing some revision. The revision of the same idea which we have discussed in the second chapter. And in second chapter, in the first canto, if you remember more or less the overall view of the first canto, you'll be able to understand, you'll be able to connect to my words now. In the first canto, we had seen Brahma Satya Jagan Mithya. The Brahman is true. The Brahman is real, true, and the Jagat, the world, is an appearance. And the second canto, we had seen the overall meaning is what? Jivo Brahma Ivan Aparaha. Essentially, there is no difference between individual self and supreme self. So basically, the essence of Advaita Vedanta has been seen in these 2 cantos of the second chapter. Now, I'll be again in the third chapter. Basically, I think first canto has got some few shlokas, 9-10 shlokas, and second canto has got some 11 shlokas, basically. Around 20 to 25 shlokas we have got now. Now, these 2 cantos put together, they discuss 4 points, actually. 4 points, you can say, 4 topics, you can say, 4 items, you can say. What is that? The first is, again, I said, consolidating a revision. The first topic, the Rishi will be discussing on Atma Swarupa. The nature of the Atman. Or still you want me to tell, what is my real nature? Who am I? When I say Aham Brahmasmi, I am that Brahman, then we think I and Brahman were two different things. No. I am that Brahman means I only Brahman and Brahman only I. There are no two different things. It is the limitation of the language. Then Atma Swarupa means the nature of the Atman. Fine. It is my real nature. Then Atma Swarupa Gnanam means Paravidya. The knowledge of the Atman, or the knowledge of the self, which is my real nature. Then the third will be Atma Swarupa Gnana Phalam actually. Atma Swarupa, such Gnanam, that is Brahma Vidya, that is Sachidananda. Once you realize, once you experience, once you come to know what happens, what are you going to get? Already we discussed in the last shloka, now we discussed the similar way they'll be using. And the fourth is Atma Swarupa Gnana Sadhanani. The end is very clear. Realizing the self, experiencing the self. That is the end. Then what are the means to achieve that goal? What are the means to go to that final goal, if you ask? So in the fourth point, they are speaking of the sadhanas also. Means. What are the primary means and secondary means to achieve self-knowledge, to attain self-knowledge? Now keep it in mind, attaining self-knowledge, achieving self-knowledge, these are all relative terms. Because Atma Gnana cannot be attained. Atma Gnana cannot be achieved. Because it is already our real nature, it is there. Then why are we struggling? Then why should you attend class? Then why should you do sadhana? It is only the removal actually. It is a negative in nature. You are trying to remove your ignorance. You are trying to remove, just like there is a gold, and upon the gold, there is a soil. And you are trying to remove the soil, that's all. Okay, so keeping this in the background, let us try to enter the third chapter, third Mundaka and first canto. So 4 topics we will be discussing: Atma Swarupa, Atma Swarupa Gnana, Atma Swarupa Phala, Swarupa Gnana Phala, and Atma Swarupa Sadhana. So these are the 4 topics we will be discussing. This is also very interesting and very often quoted shloka. Dvasuparna Sayuja Sakhaya Samanam Vruksham Parishajasva Jate Tayoranyah Pippalam Svat Anyah Anashnan Anyo Abhichakashiti. 2 birds that are ever associated and having similar names clings to the same tree. Of these, one eats the fruit of divergent taste and the other looks on without eating. Now, before this, I will give a simple explanation. Then we'll go into that. It will be easy for you. Now, there is one tree. There is a tree. In the tree, on the same branch, more or less, on the same branch, 2 birds are sitting. 2 birds are of different, same species. Same nature, same species, same nature. And one bird is just simply sitting. And the other bird, it is trying to eat the fruits which was available on that particular tree. Okay. And that one bird just it was witnessing, it was seeing the other bird eating or enjoying, and the other bird just it was witnessing, and the one more bird, when it was trying to eat the fruits, consume the fruits, sometimes the fruits were tasty, delicious, sweet, then the bird was so happy. And sometimes when it was eating the fruits of that particular tree, it was bitter or it was rotten. It was bitter, say. Then immediately his face would have become gone bad. So the bird is experiencing sometimes happy, sometimes sorrow, sometimes favorable, sometimes unfavorable, whatever you can say. Whereas the other bird is just witnessing all this phenomena. And this one bird, the other bird, which was eating the different fruits and having different experience, slowly, while eating slowly, it comes near to that bird, the other bird. And when it sees, it understands that there is no essential difference between them two. It is only its own reflection. There's actually only one bird, but it was only reflection. So the bird which was eating the fruits is only the reflection of the bird which was there as a witness. Now, for this, Tattva Bodha comes into our rescue. Tattva Bodha comes into our help, actually. If you remember if not Tattva Bodha shlokas, Tattva Bodha teachings, you'll be able to link here all these things. Now, the Jivatman, individual being, has got three parts, three components, if you remember very clearly. Number one is what? Physical body, Stula Sharira. Number two, Sukshma Sharira, that is subtle body. And the third is what? Karana Sharira, causal body. Okay, when the consciousness reflects in the Dugdhishya Viveka again, when it is reflected on the mind, Sukshma Sharira, there is called reflected consciousness. That is what? Fourth. So physical body, subtle body, causal body, and this reflected consciousness, all these four put together is called Jivatman. So this you should keep it in mind. I'll be referring to this. First is physical body, second is subtle body, third is causal body, fourth is reflected consciousness. And there is a fifth one, which is called original consciousness, or just the consciousness or the original consciousness. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4 put together is Jivatman, individual self, embodied self, and the fifth is what? The Brahman, or the consciousness, or the reality. When the bird enjoying the fruits, experiencing the fruits, while eating, sometimes it was happy and sometimes morose. When it came near that bird, it understood that I am the reflection of the original consciousness. I am only the reflection of that original bird. This is what explained in this particular shloka. Now, Dva Suparna Sayuja Sakaya. It is called Arsha Prayoga. Actually, if you go from Sanskrit, it should be Dvau Suparno Sayujo. It should be Dvivachana. Actually, it should be there. Anyhow, grammatically, I'm telling you. But Arsha Prayoga, because it has been given by Rishi, so out of respect towards them, we have accepted as it is. Dva means two, Suparna, Sayuja, Sakaya. So, two birds. Suparna. Suparna means, two bright winged birds. Two bright winged birds. Suparna. Sayuja. Sayuja means they are inseparable actually. And Sakaya. Sakaya means they are very close friends. Samanam Vruksham. Samanam Vruksham means there is only one tree. And this tree is actually, it is our body. Again, the Rishi has taken the example of Pipilaka. Pipilaka is banyan. Ashwatha Ruksha. That is banyan tree. Again, it's only figurative sense. Imagine a banyan tree. There are banyan seeds or banyan fruits, so many. And two birds are sitting. And one bird is just witnessing, the other bird is enjoying the banyan fruit, and sometimes it is sweet, sometimes it is bitter. That's how it is enjoying. Now that banyan tree here refers to our own body. Okay, and the fruits represents karma phala. And the bird which was eating different fruits is what? The Jivatman. And the bird which was not doing anything and just it was witnessing the original consciousness, which we say that is the bird. So if you know this, then you'll be able to understand the entire shloka. Dva Suparna, the two bright birds having a bright wings. Sayuja. Sayuja means both are inseparable, I told. Sakaya, close friends. Samanam Vruksham means there is only one tree for both the birds. Parishad Svajate. Parishad Svajate means embraces or occupies. Tayohu Anyaha Pipilam Swati means among two, the other bird or one bird, it was experiencing the atti. Atti means the banyan fruit. Anashnan Anyaha Abhichakashiti. Whereas the other bird, just it was witnessing, it was just observing. It was neither happy nor unhappy, neither joyful nor morose, but it was witnessing. This is the overall meaning of this shloka. I don't think you need any more explanation for this, but I mean, for this particular sloka, which is very simple, that is enough. Then in the second and third sloka, the same idea will be discussed. The second sloka is very important, the diagnosis of the samsara. Why we are suffering? What is the root cause of our suffering? Why are we suffering has been explained in the second sloka. Let us try to discuss in the next class. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Shri Rama Krishna Arpanamastu. Yeah, any of you got any questions?
Swamiji, one thing is this coming back to revisit this whole thing like a revision. Is it a standard pattern in other Upanishads?
No. No. I think this is a unique phenomenon of this Mundaka Upanishad. Most of the Upanishads don't do any revision. Because it was like a class, isn't it? Because student asked for the teacher and he explained and is recapitulating. Yeah.
And just to kind of revisit that four things. One is Atma Swarupa Jnana. The third one I missed. You said Agatma Swarupa Jnana Phala.
Phala, yes.
And the last one is
Atma Swarupa Jnana Sadhana. Sadhanani.
Acha, the methods of
Means are the methods to attain Atma Jnana.
Understood.
These are the four topics has been discussed in the entire third chapter.
Which in a way it is this again a summary of everything that is covered.
Yes. So only they take a different example or they take a different narration. The same example, whatever we had seen or whatever the examples they took for explaining or the narration style, so that they may change with the different examples or different way of putting, they try to do it. Yeah.
In a way, even in the first two chapters, he covered these four were covered.
Yes. That's why probably I may not be going into very detail now because it's a recapitulation. So I'll be just touching it. Until otherwise, some of you want in detail. Otherwise, I will be just, briefing.
And from the perspective of some of us who are learning this, see the one of the challenges. I mean, you also mentioned it before. Also, is that it sounds very obvious, right? So we've now heard so many times that it sounds very obvious, but in the most important situations, we don't we miss that, right? So the overall prescription is Shravana Manana Nididhyasana. Now, I don't know how we relate it to this particular study now, right? We have gone through the Mundaka Upanishad, or at least the two chapters. From a practical perspective, I mean, at least in my case, I feel at an intellectual level, if one gets what is being told, but translating that into living our lives are it's the Rama Bhatta, Krishna Bhatta story, right? So
yes, it is true. No doubt.
How does one go through the
yes. For that,
not on a very generic basis, but on a specific basis in relation to this Upanishad, what is the Shravana Manana?
No, before Shravana Manana Nididhyasana, here when the Rishi or the disciple is approaching the Rishi or the Guru, so there they have taken for granted that the sadhaka or the disciple is well established in sadhana chatushtaya sampannata. If you remember the four prerequisites. So one is discrimination between real and unreal. The second is, which is very important, Shamadabadi Shatka Sampatti. One who is established in Shama, Dama, Uparti, Titiksha, Samadhana, Shraddha. And Yamutra Palabogadi Viraga. I don't want any enjoyment of this world and the above worlds. And Mumukshatva, intense desire for liberation. When these four are well established, the more and more you establish, then the knowledge gets clear, or the knowledge gets crystallized. Or rather, your knowledge will be put into you can be translated into action, I mean to say. Or in other words, from the Mundaka language, if you ask me, they ask you to do the Karma Yoga and Bhakti Yoga or Upasana Yoga, according to them, I'm saying. So according to them, Karma Yoga and Upasana Yoga should be practiced. So when you practiced, then what happens? Your purification of the mind and the concentration of the mind, it gets more. And when you get to the good extent, when you achieve this, then Shravana Manidhyasana will bear its fruit. You know what is right, you know what is wrong, or what is real and what is not, but still why we are not able to put into practice? Who is holding us back? It is only our own mind. Why it is not allowing us to go further? Because of the impressions, because of our samskaras. Until otherwise you clean the container, how much ever, what you say, how much ever water you keep on adding into the container, you will get dirty water only. You might be putting the purest water in the container, but if the container is not clean, then there is no, you can't get the pure water or fresh water.
So can I, Swamiji, take an interpretation from what you're saying that uh, there's only so much of the knowledge, right? There's only so much relevance to the knowledge. It is more important to do the Atma Shuddhi and focus on the four other uh, capacities, right? And instead of spending, I mean, while it's important to understand and have the base of knowledge, just spending too much time on that, is that a reasonable uh,
Yeah,
interpretation of
it's a
what you
reasonable
said?
argument, no doubt, but interesting argument and reasonable also, no doubt. So here there are two approaches. Now, one is that even in Gurukula, for example, in the olden days, when you Gurukula, when the student goes and join, and in slowly, even in no time, they used to teach these Upanishads and Vedas. That doesn't mean that everyone had that sadhana chadu sampannata equally. But still they used to teach. Why? Because at least if you know the reality, that will instill the desire for you to experience the reality so that you will be able to practice that. You will, so, okay, this is the reality, fine. Then I'm not able to put into practice. I'm not able to translate into practice. What shall I do? Okay, that means there is an obstacle for you. There are some obstacles, resistance in you. So what are the resistance? The impressions, the samskaras, or the impurity. So get clear, then you'll be able to experience. Okay, but still the teaching and the studying continues. And that's what we see in Gurukulas. Then why do we study it then? Once I get clear, then I will come and listen. Yes, that is also one possible. The second thing is why they're asking you to listen time and again. Practice is most essential, no doubt. So that you are trying to remind. So we are trying to remember time and again what is reality, what is reality, what is reality. So that should help, or that will help, and that should help us to understand what is necessary and keep intact, or probably do our sadhana. The one more corollary can be thought of this. This was one we discussed in our monastery long back with our senior sadhus. When you go on hearing about these things, at some point of time, yourself will feel dejected, or yourself will feel bad about it. I'm not able to get it. I'm not able to understand. I'm not able to experience. That brings Vyakulata, earning, and that will make you to go deep or do sadhana and get what you say, experience of the self or whatever. So these are the probably three things I would like to tell with this thing. Yeah.
Yeah, so thank you. That's useful too. That's practically useful. Um, it also, in a way, I think, at least for me, it makes the Jnana Yoga. I mean, each person has a certain preference, right, of what works. This absolute claim of Jnana Yoga has to be tempered with what you practice also is important, right? Otherwise, there
Yes.
is an absolute claim in Jnana Yoga that with knowledge everything gets cured.
Yes.
Uh,
See, and also, that's the reason Shravanam and Nidhyasana is stored. But of course, I mean, the traditional Vedanta, Advaita Vedanta tells very clearly, Sadhan Chatushta Sampannata is very important. If that is there, then only it will help. That is fine. So there, if you have been well, for example, you have been 100%, say 95 or 100%, you have been established in the Sadhan Chatushta Sampannata.
so-
Then once you are established, then you heard like Tattvamasi Shvetaketu. 9 times he heard and immediately said, Ahamasmi Brahma. So that is a Uttamadhikaris we say. Now I have got say 50-60%. I've got 50-60% of establishment in the Sanchatush Sampannata. Now I'm hearing Advaita Vedanta or I'm studying Upanishads or whatever. Then what happens? I know the reality, no doubt, but still I'm not able to put into practice. Then for such people, the Vedanta says you go to Manana also. Then that means. So in Manana, what you are trying to do, you are trying to recapitulate. When you are trying to recapitulate, so while recapitulating even that time, you are trying to keep yourself in a good thoughts, not doing any unnecessary work or bad actions or worldly actions or whatever. That's the first use for you. And second thing, you are yourself probably you can give them, you might have experienced or the people who are reading time and again the Vedanta or any other scriptures will be experienced as we are hearing that truth time and again, if not all the times, at some point of time, I'm hearing Vedanta, I heard that and I heard this, or I think this is what right, or this is what self, I'm self, etc. And I'm behaving in such a badly manner, or such in a low manner, that doesn't befit me. That doesn't befit the knowledge which I have acquired or which I have read. So I should change myself. So when you are reading time and again the same thing, when you are hearing same time and again same thing, that also creates impressions, and that will also helps you to what you say to go further in spiritual life or in your understanding or experience or whatever. So like Vedantic hammer, I will say. Vedantic hammer is go on beating on the rod. Then what happens? Slowly it gets sharpened, isn't it? So we are trying to, with the Vedantic hammer, you are trying to beat your mind. Means you are trying to soak your mind time and again with the Vedantic thoughts, so that it is like a dehypnotization. In a one word, if you want me to say, yeah.
okay, so
Yeah. Okay, I think I hope no other questions.